obviously you've kept Mancini a long time. Would you expect him to be in the lineup Wednesday?
We're still everybody's in play to to be in the lineup that's here right now, and so we've looked at things in practice, and yeah, he's a possibility.
Along those lines, I mean, we know that Jimmy hasn't skated, so
Right.
is he a candidate for LTIR?
Those questions get handled over on my boss's side. I don't think anything's changed, and Lindy was out on the ice again today. Jimmy has not yet, and I don't think anything's changed with where those guys are at. So those questions are.
Would Lindgren be an option for Wednesday, or would he have to have like a full practice before he goes?
Right now it's still the same timeline. He hasn't been out with us, and it's still the same timeline that you were given before. Nothing's really changed.
You had Brett Berard up sent off and back, obviously. Just what do you think Berard can benefit from, even if it's just an extra practice or two being up with the big club?
He made an impression on everybody. It's the way he works and the way he competes. You see him out here mixed in with a full NHL team, and he looks really good. It's his speed, it's his tenacity, his ability to make plays, and like I said, as a first-year player to go down there and I think lead the team in goals. I think he had 25. You'd have to check that, but I think he had 25, and that's not an easy thing to do in your first year. And so he had a good year, and then he can follow it through with a good summer and came to camp in shape, and he's made a really good impression. So yeah, I think anytime you're up here, you're benefiting from practices where you're playing against higher competition at a different pace and a different speed. But he was good. Mancini, the same thing. I think he looked good when all the guys were out on the ice. They still look like they're good. They belong.
With Artempi, I mean, seeing him get through the practice today, is that enough to kind of make you feel good about his availability for Wednesday, or do you need to see how?
Yeah, I mean, we're still a couple days out on that, but what you saw is exactly what happened. He made it through the practice today without any issues, and that's a positive.
Kind of looking ahead to the opener and just your general feelings going into the season. I'm sure you saw that, like Jacob Trouba said going into the year, that this was like probably the last crack at it with this core. Do you feel like there's any extra pressure or urgency with this group compared to last year?
I think there's an expectation. There was last year, probably before I got here, for this team to be successful, and then ultimately you have to go and build that through the regular season, and you have to do the work. You got to put yourself in a position to have a good regular season, to carry that into the playoffs. I don't think any of that changes. I don't know if it's necessarily a pressure. It's just that's what I think. That's what we expect. That's what we want to achieve here in New York, and so, but that hasn't changed, I don't think. And so it's still, you got to keep moving forward. We got to take more steps. There were some good things that we did, but we got to take more steps, and I think that's where everybody's head's at.
Presuming Keandre and Fox are prepared for opening night and for however long, when you play with a guy who's a Norris Trophy winner, perennial Norris Trophy finalist, does Keandre have to adjust off of him or play off of Adam, or do they play off each other?
Well, that'd probably be a better question for Key. Just because he's the one out there, I'm not sure exactly how he's viewing. I think I've given you my opinion on Key when asked about his next step or playing with Adam, because Adam's a Norris Trophy. I think Key is a horse for us. Like he is. He's big minutes. He's big opposition. He's there when the chips are down. Expanding the role a little bit to start on the power play. He got some last year, but starting in those roles. But he's used in every situation for us and will be. And I think it could be a really good pair. They're both very good players and high-end players.
You've been coaching for a number of years, so I was wondering what...
100. I think it's 100.
I was wondering what your personal emotions are usually going into every season and this season also.
It's exciting. I mean, any year is exciting. I think once you get through training camp, there's always that that phase. Unless you rang the bell at the end of the year, right? There's always that phase where you get out of it for everybody, where it's just there's this depression or sadness that there's no way to do it. You're in a forward march for however many days, 200 days, and then the season ends, and it's just everything's just cut off. And with that, you realize that your season's over, and unless you got there, you're probably faced with some sort of, you're not happy about what happened. And I think it goes away through the course of the summer, and you start to get excited again. You start to, free agency comes, or the draft comes, and then free agency comes, and you start thinking about your team again, and changes to the players, changes to the staffs. And then you get out on the ice in training camp, and it's really good, and guys are ready. They come into camp in such good shape now, and that everything's high intensity and high tempo, and it really was from day one, because we put our group as many times as we could in practice to try and get ready for the season, so that we could get out of the gate and start strong. But I always think that there's an excitement. The end of last year is so far rearview mirror stuff, and the windshield now is just looking at this new season, this brand new season. It's a chance to make your mark and go out and do great things, and it starts at game one in Pittsburgh. But I think that there's always an excitement that goes with that.
This team is very obviously similar to last year, but there's something that you look at and say, what, this is what I like, different about this group now going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that a player like Riley Smith comes in, and he can help out in that top 3, top 6, top 9 role, and layer in a piece, a really good hockey player who's won a championship. I like that Phil has come back strong this year and has looked really good, really impressive with his game. That's a big hole. Phil was a big hole, and I like the young players that came in and made some noise. Edstrom, I think I said when we started this, you want him to come in and rattle you. You want him to come in and shake you and say, I'm here. Well, I think Eddie did that. He did it from the rookie games on. And so those things are all positive coming out of training camp. You ask him questions about a guy like Mancini. Well, he was impressive in the rookie games, and he's been impressive in the games he's played here. And those are exciting things. So I don't know if it's necessarily surprising, but that's what you want out of training camp. You want that to happen, and we were able to fill in some spaces that maybe we needed to fill in, and then some guys came in and they filled in the remaining spaces with the way they played.
Peter, just Mika, you have him back tomorrow, or do you expect? I know it's maintenance.
Yeah, it's maintenance. I mean, I'd like to see him back there, but it's maintenance. We'll see.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.